In 1815, a mountain exploded with more force than any bomb humans had ever built. And the world went dark. Not metaphorically, literally dark. The sky turned red, the sun turned dim, and an entire year of Earth's history simply disappeared. They called it the year without a summer, and it's the reason a teenage girl locked inside a cold, dark house wrote one of the most famous horror stories ever told. This is the story of the volcano that broke the sky. April 1815, Indonesia. Mount Tambora erupts. Not like a normal eruption, the biggest volcanic explosion in over 1,000 years. The sound was heard 2,000 kilometers away. People that far away thought it was cannon fire from a war. Ash shot 43 kilometers into the sky. Entire villages were buried alive in seconds. Tens of thousands of people died within days. But that wasn't the real disaster. The real disaster hadn't even started yet. Tambora didn't just destroy an island. It poisoned the sky. Millions of tons of ash and sulfur shot into the upper atmosphere and spread across the entire planet. It formed a thin, invisible veil around the Earth, blocking sunlight, cooling the whole world down. Nobody knew it yet, but summer was canceled. 1 year later, 1816. On the other side of the planet in Europe and North America, something impossible started happening. Snow in June, frost in July. Crops froze in the fields before they could be harvested. The sky stayed a strange, dim red for months. Farmers had never seen anything like it, because nobody alive had. Nobody understood why. They just knew the world felt wrong. Crops failed across 3 continents. Wheat prices exploded. Families that had food yesterday had nothing today. Riots broke out over bread. People were literally fighting in the streets for grain. In parts of Europe, entire towns starved. This wasn't a war. This wasn't a plague. This was the weather itself turning against humanity. And there was nowhere to run, because it wasn't local, it was global. In Switzerland, a group of writers were trapped inside a villa by the endless cold and rain. Stuck indoors, no sunlight, no warmth, days blending into nights. To pass the time, they challenged each other to write ghost stories. One of them was an 18-year-old named Mary Shelley, and in that cold, dark, endless year, she wrote Frankenstein, a story about creating life in a world that felt like it was dying. That single dark summer didn't just starve a continent. It quietly created one of the most influential stories in literary history. But the damage went even deeper. Historians believe the famine and chaos of that year helped trigger the worst typhus epidemic in centuries. Mass migrations began. Desperate families left their homes searching for food anywhere the sky hadn't turned against them. Entire regions of Europe were forever changed by a mountain most people had never even heard of. One eruption, one invisible cloud of ash, and an entire civilization was brought to its knees. Here's the part that should terrify you. Nobody in 1816 knew why any of this was happening. There was no science of volcanic winters yet, no satellites, no warnings, no explanation. They just watched their crops die and their world grow cold, with absolutely no idea why. It would take decades before anyone connected a distant volcano to a global catastrophe. Today, we know the truth. One mountain on one island can reach into the sky and quietly starve the entire planet. No war declared it. No enemy planned it. Just pressure, ash, and silence. Rewriting history from the inside of the Earth. It's already happened once, and nothing is stopping it from happening again. Scientists say a Tambora-sized eruption is not a matter of if, It's a matter of when. The only difference next time, we'll know exactly what's coming. We just won't be able to stop it. Because the deadliest disasters in human history were never the ones we saw coming. They were the ones already happening, quietly, underground, waiting